The council chamber was silent. Hundreds of aliens from different planets were watching. The room smelled of metal and oil, and the soft blue light from the recording device flickered on the old alien. He was the last survivor of the Battle of Sigma Reach. His scales were gray with age, and his 4 eyes were clouded with memories he wished he could forget. His claws trembled slightly as he stepped toward the central platform. The council waited. They had waited 50 years to hear his story. "You are here to share your experience with humanity," said the counselor, her voice calm. "The galaxy is deciding if humans should be allowed to expand. Your testimony may help us understand what we are facing. Begin when you are ready." The old alien took a deep breath. Memories flooded him. He was young when the war started. He had been a sensor officer on the flagship Dominance. At that time, his empire had conquered 17 species across the galaxy. They were proud. They believed themselves the greatest warriors the universe had ever seen. "And then we met humans," he said, his voice low. The council leaned forward. Some had never seen a human. Some did not understand what they were asking about. At first, the scouts' reports made the Empire laugh. Humans were weak, soft, fragile. Thin skin, no claws, no venom. Short lives, 8 hours of sleep every day. A simple infection could kill them. They seemed one of the weakest species the Empire had ever met. "We thought they would fall in a single rotation cycle," the old alien said. "We were fools. The High Command chose a small human colony called New Montana as the first target. It was a mining world on the edge of human space, with 50,000 civilians. Humans had only one ship defending it, the medium cruiser USS Steadfast. The Empire sent 40 warships. 40 ships against one. They thought it would be easy, a demonstration of their power. They wanted humans to surrender without a real fight. As the fleet approached, they received a transmission from the human ship. A calm voice spoke over the channel. "Fleet. This is Lieutenant Commander Marsh of the USS Steadfast. You are approaching human territory with hostile intent. Turn back now. This is your only warning." The alien fleet laughed. Even the old alien laughed. A small ship, outnumbered 40 to 1, warning the greatest warships in the galaxy? It was absurd. But the laughter stopped quickly. When they opened fire, their plasma cannons tore into the Steadfast's hull. Shields failed. Engines were damaged. They were dying. And yet, the ship did not retreat. It did not surrender. Instead, it accelerated. Directly toward the flagship Dominance. The old alien screamed a warning to his commander. Too late. The Steadfast crashed into the flagship's docking bay. Hundreds of crew members died instantly. Then the human crew detonated their reactor. The explosion crippled the Dominance and killed the war commander. The fleet lost its command ship in the first 5 minutes of the battle. "That was the moment I first understood something was wrong," the old alien said. "Every species we had fought before followed rules. Retreat when losing. Surrender when defeat is certain. Humans do not follow these rules. They fight until they cannot fight anymore. And then they find a way to keep fighting." The council was silent. The chamber felt heavy. Every alien leaned forward, eyes wide. The old alien described the boarding of their ships. The humans cut through airlocks with plasma torches, moving in small groups, 5 or 6 soldiers at a time. They wore heavy armor and carried strange, fast weapons. They were terrifying in their speed and precision. He described Sergeant Danny Reeves, who fought for 3 hours with a broken arm. Bones sticking through his skin. Pain that would have stopped any normal warrior. Not Danny. He moved like a predator, checking corners, shooting with perfect accuracy. He told the council about Corporal Amy, a combat medic. She dragged a wounded soldier to safety while firing her pistol. She was hit twice, bleeding heavily. And yet, she did not stop until her squad was safe behind cover. She bandaged herself with one hand while keeping her weapon ready with the other. The old alien's voice trembled as he said, "I had been hiding, afraid to move, watching them secure our ship. I saw soldiers who should have been screaming in pain, but they were calm, professional, and deadly. That silence terrified me more than anything else." After the boarding, the humans did not celebrate. They did not laugh. They treated prisoners with care, gave them food and water, and helped the wounded, even the aliens who had attacked them. The old alien paused. The memory was still sharp. He looked at the council with 4 tired eyes. "Before that day, I thought bravery meant facing danger without fear. The humans taught me a different meaning. Bravery means being afraid, and fighting anyway, even when you are certain you will die." The council was silent. Some delegates had tears in their eyes. The story was too real, too horrifying, too inspiring. "This battle lasted 6 hours," the alien said. 2,000 of our soldiers died. The humans lost 43. 43 against 2,000. And they won. But that was only the beginning. The worst was yet to come. He lowered his hand, his claws shaking. The chamber remained quiet. Everyone knew the story was far from over. The council leaned forward again. They wanted to know more. The humans had shattered everything they knew about war, about combat, about courage. The old alien whispered one last thought for part one. This is what humanity is. Wait, no. Small? No. Ordinary? Never. They are survivors. They fight. They endure. And they never ever stop. The old alien's eyes were tired, but full of fear as he began the next part of his testimony. The fleet had been destroyed. The flagship dominance was crippled, and his brothers in command were dead. Only a small group of survivors, less than 30, had managed to escape. They fled to a frozen moon called Seven, a harsh, icy world where the surface temperatures were far below freezing. The alien soldiers thought they were safe. Their communications relay station was buried deep underground, fortified with heavy weapons and over 1,000 defenders. Logic said that the humans would never follow them into this frozen wasteland. Logic said that 200 humans could not defeat 1,000 defenders. Logic was wrong. The humans did not wait. They did not retreat. They came. The old alien shook his head slowly. They left the warmth of the captured station and walked into a frozen hell. They did not stop. Not for hunger. Not for exhaustion. Not for the cold. Every step they took was a step closer to their goal. Us. The council listened, spellbound. The chamber was silent. Even the younger delegates understood that this story was not about ordinary soldiers. Captain Sam led the humans. He was young, only 34, but already a skilled commander. After most senior officers had died in the space battle, Sam took control. He sent a simple message to the aliens at Moon 7. You have 12 hours to surrender. This is your only warning. Comply or we come for you. The aliens laughed. The old alien's brother thought it was a bluff. They are weak, he said. They cannot win. We have numbers, weapons, fortifications. They cannot survive. But 12 hours later the humans struck. They came from everywhere. Through tunnels, air vents, hidden passages. They had used the waiting time to study the station, find weak points, and plan a precise attack. The old alien's voice trembled as he recalled the first wave of humans breaking into the station. They moved silently, like shadows, cutting communications first. Without light they attacked room by room. Their weapons were strange but effective. Their movements were perfect. Every alien who thought themselves safe was wrong. He told the council about Private Tours, a young 19-year-old human. She and her squad entered the section where his brother commanded the defense. A terrible fight erupted. His brother was a skilled warrior. He had killed many before, but Tours was faster, smarter, and relentless. The old alien's voice cracked. They killed each other. My brother stabbed her with his blade. She should have died instantly. But she did not. With the blade still in her body, she activated her grenades, and the explosion killed them both. The command center was destroyed. Silence. The council could feel the weight of that battle. A child by human standards, sacrificing herself to complete her mission. That was not weakness. That was pure determination. By the end of the fight, the station had fallen in 6 hours. 200 humans defeated 1,000 defenders. The humans lost only 80 soldiers. The aliens over 900. The humans did not celebrate. They did not cheer or laugh. They collected their dead, carried them to makeshift morgues and continued moving. Captain Sam personally carried the body of Tours out of the rubble, tears in his eyes. But once he laid her down, he straightened, set his jaw, and gave orders for the next phase of the operation. The old alien's voice softened. I have never seen beings who could feel so deeply and still fight so hard. They mourned their dead, but they did not stop. They grieved and then they continued. That is something I had never seen before. That is what makes humans dangerous. The council remained silent. They understood now why humans were feared in the galaxy. They were not just warriors. They were survivors. The alien spoke next about the pursuit. We thought we could escape. We fled across the frozen surface. We were weak, injured, starving. We believed the humans would not follow. But they did. 30 humans followed us for 2 weeks. They wrapped themselves in sheets, blankets, anything to survive the cold. Some collapsed, some froze, some died. But they never gave up. They buried their dead, marked the graves, and kept walking. They were relentless. The old alien looked around the chamber, his 4 eyes wide. I watched through my scope. Every morning we would check the horizon. And every morning the same tiny figures were there. Always coming. Always following. Always hunting us. That is what humans do. They do not stop. It is not a strategy. It is instinct. A hunter. A predator. A survivor. The council leaned forward. Even the youngest delegates were beginning to understand. These humans were not like any species the galaxy had encountered. They did not surrender. They did not retreat. They did not give up. He described the human medics who traveled with the pursuit team. Laura, a young medic, performed surgery in the middle of a blizzard. One soldier had a severe leg infection. No proper tools, no anesthesia, no sterile environment. The soldier was awake, enduring every cut and slice because he trusted her. The next day he walked again. The old alien's voice shook. Humans endure. They survive pain. They push beyond limits no other species can imagine. And they do it not because they want to win but because they cannot stop. They follow to the end. They chase, they fight, they endure. Always. Until the mission is complete. The council gasped. This was not just war. This was humanity itself. And the galaxy had never faced such creatures before. The old alien paused, his claws resting on the platform. He looked at the council and whispered. We were hunting humans. But the truth is, we were being hunted. And we did not even understand it. The old alien's claws rested on the platform as he continued his testimony. After Moon 7, the surviving aliens were captured. They expected cruelty, torture, punishment. They had faced humans in battle, yes, but this was different. They were prisoners now. The humans led them to a prison camp on a distant moon. The alien braced for the worst. He had fought with humans, seen their weapons, their bravery, but he had never expected what came next. The camp was clean and orderly. Guards were strict but not cruel. Prisoners received regular meals. Wounded aliens were treated by human medics. The camp allowed exercise, even socialization. Every day the aliens were reminded of one rule: follow the camp rules and you will be safe. The old alien shook his head. I had never heard of such treatment. In our empire, prisoners are property. You use them or you punish them or you kill them. Here they treated us with dignity. And they did it even though we had tried to kill them, tried to destroy their homes, tried to conquer their species. He described the medics, young humans with gentle eyes, who bandaged wounds, cleaned infections, and gave food to aliens who had been their enemies only hours before. I asked one of them why she was helping me. She looked confused as if the question made no sense. She said, "You're hurt. It is my job to help people who are hurt." The council listened, astonished. How could beings capable of such war also show such mercy? 3 years passed in that camp. 3 years of routine. No beatings. No starvation. No abuse. The aliens learned that humans had rules of war, guidelines for how to treat prisoners. Respect the enemy. Protect the weak. Maintain honor, even in conflict. The old alien's voice softened. I should have hated them for everything. They killed my brother, destroyed my fleet, conquered my people. We had every reason to fight, to rebel, to hate. But the humans, they showed mercy. Then he spoke of the war's end. The human forces had not just defended their colonies. They had pushed back. They liberated worlds that the Empire had conquered. The humans did not just fight for survival, they fought for justice. When the Empire finally accepted defeat, a human admiral named Ben came to negotiate surrender. The old alien watched quietly. Admiral Ben was simple. No grand decorations, no loud voice. Just calm, gray-haired, tired eyes. He listened. He shook hands. He signed agreements. The old alien paused, gathering strength. I looked into his eyes. I wanted to see hatred, triumph, cruelty, something to explain the humans. I saw nothing. Calm, patient, finished. That is what terrifies me most about humans. They do not hate us. They do not enjoy killing. They do what is necessary, and when it is done, they stop. They put down their weapons, go home, and live. But if you threaten their peace, if you threaten their people, they will become the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. The council gasped. Many had thought humans were dangerous because of strength or technology. Now they understood. It was their morality, their discipline, their endurance. The old alien spoke of individual heroism. He reminded the council of Marsh, who flew her ship into death to protect her people. Tors, the 19-year-old soldier, who sacrificed herself to complete her mission. The humans who walked through frozen hell for 2 weeks because they refused to let their enemies escape. These are the humans you face, he said. Do not underestimate them. Treat them with respect and they will respect you. Treat them as enemies, and may the stars have mercy on you. The council remained silent. The room was heavy with the weight of his words. Every alien there began to understand that humans were unlike any species they had known. They were not the strongest. They were not the fastest. They were unpredictable, relentless, and capable of both mercy and overwhelming force. The old alien lowered his hand and said softly, "I have spent 50 years studying humanity since the war. I have read their history. I have seen their love, their music, their art. I have seen parents sacrifice everything for their children. I have seen strangers risk their lives to save those they do not know. Humans are not monsters. They contain both light and darkness. They can be kind and cruel, brave and cowardly, generous and selfish. That is what makes them so dangerous. You never know which version of humanity you will face until it is too late." The counselor leaned forward. "Based on your experience, should humanity be allowed to expand into contested space?" The old alien laughed bitterly. "Do you think my advice will change anything? It does not matter. If you let humans expand peacefully, they will trade with you, form alliances, and become partners. If you oppose them, if you try to stop them with force, they will fight. And they will win." He turned toward the exit, but a young delegate called out, "After everything they did to your people, after everything you experienced, can humanity be trusted?" The old alien stopped. His 4 eyes focused on the young delegate. "Trust is complicated. Humans killed my brother. They destroyed my fleet. I should hate them. And yet, they buried their dead beside ours. They helped us when we were wounded. They treated us with honor. I do not know if they can be trusted. But I know this: they are capable of honor. They are capable of mercy. That is more than enough to survive, and to destroy anyone who threatens them." He walked out slowly. The council chamber remained silent for a long moment. Outside, the sun set across the world below, painting the sky with shades of orange and gold. Somewhere far away, humans were living their lives, building, creating, dreaming. They were too busy living to worry about the galaxy fearing them. That, perhaps, was the most human thing of all. The old alien stepped forward again, his 4 eyes reflecting the council chamber lights. He had finished recounting the horrors and bravery of Moon 7, but now he had to explain what came next, the part that shook the entire galaxy. After the war ended, humans did not stop. They did not simply defend their worlds and go home. They expanded, yes, but with careful planning, intelligence, and strategy that no other species had ever seen. The council listened as he described Earth's rise in the galaxy. "Humans studied everything," he said. "Every battle, every alien species, every tactic. They did not just fight to survive. They learned. They adapted. They improved. Within decades, they were not only defenders, they became strategists." The old alien paused. "The galaxy believed humans were chaotic, emotional, weak. That was our first mistake. Humans do not fight blindly. They fight with purpose, calculation, and unpredictability. Every decision is a choice between survival and victory. And they always plan for the impossible." He recounted a story from a distant conflict. A minor alien species, the Xyler, had been planning an attack on a human colony. They believed the humans would panic, surrender, or negotiate. But the humans had prepared. Captain Sam, who had survived the previous wars, was now leading a new fleet. He knew the Xyler would attack from multiple directions, the old alien said. So he split his fleet into smaller units, hidden in asteroid fields, behind space debris, even inside the debris of destroyed enemy ships. When the Xyler attacked, they were ambushed from every angle. Ships that thought they were safe were destroyed. Humans did not waste their resources, but they never hesitated to use every advantage the environment gave them. The council gasped. "We believed humans would only fight with brute force," the old alien continued. "But they fight with intelligence, patience, and cunning. They predict their enemies, they plan years ahead, and they improvise when plans fail. They are like predators who hunt not with speed or size, but with intelligence and endurance." He explained the political shock across the galaxy. Empires and councils who had once laughed at humans were now fearful. Every species in the galaxy was forced to re-evaluate, he said. Reports came in from dozens of systems. Human colonies were thriving. Their fleets were growing. They were forming alliances, but only on their terms. And they were not afraid to use force when it was necessary. They did not attack without reason, but when they did, the results were devastating. The old alien's voice lowered. "I remember a particular moment that changed everything. The human fleet encountered a coalition of 4 alien species planning to invade a resource-rich planet. Humans were outnumbered 3-1. Most species would have surrendered or retreated. Humans, they calculated, adapted, and turned the battlefield into a trap. They used the planet's gravity, the asteroid belts, even the sun's radiation to their advantage. Within hours, the 4 fleets were destroyed or fleeing. And not a single human ship was lost. It was not luck. It was intelligence, discipline, and understanding of their enemies. The council leaned forward, astonished. And they did not stop there, the old alien continued. They freed species oppressed by other empires. They brokered peace between warring factions. Humans could have conquered the galaxy, but they did not. They understood power and they understood responsibility. They could destroy, but they could also protect. And that unpredictability terrifies every species they encounter. He shifted uncomfortably, remembering the fear he had felt. When humans fight, they are unstoppable. When humans negotiate, they are fair. When humans lead, they inspire loyalty. And when humans forgive, they confound their enemies. No species can predict them completely. That is what makes humans the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. Not their weapons, not their numbers, but their adaptability, their intelligence, and their spirit. The old alien looked directly at the council, his voice steady but heavy. I fought humans in battle. I watched them endure freezing cold, starvation, wounds, and exhaustion. I saw them act with mercy yet destroy our forces. I saw young soldiers give their lives for the mission. I saw captains cry for their fallen soldiers and then command the next battle with calm precision. I have studied them for 50 years, and I am still not certain what they will do next. And that is why the galaxy fears them. A murmur went through the council chamber. Many delegates were now visibly worried. Some whispered to each other. One older alien diplomat muttered, "We underestimated them." Completely. The old alien nodded slowly. Yes, and do not make the same mistake. Humans are not just fighters. They are strategists, survivors, and moral beings all at once. They can destroy empires, but they can also protect those in need. You cannot predict them, and that is why they will always be a force in this galaxy. If you encounter them, remember one thing. Respect their intelligence, respect their values, and respect their endurance. Or face destruction. He leaned back slightly, taking a deep breath. I have told you what I know. I have warned you. But humans, they will continue to surprise you. They always do. And by the time you understand them, it will be too late to oppose them. The council sat in stunned silence. The old alien's testimony had painted humans not just as warriors, but as a species unlike any other. Strong, clever, merciful, and terrifying in equal measure. And somewhere across the stars, humans continued to live their lives, unaware that their courage, intelligence, and honor had already reshaped the galaxy. The council chamber was tense. The old alien had spent hours recounting humanity's courage, mercy, and intelligence. But now he had to tell the story of the final confrontation, the battle that cemented humanity's reputation across the galaxy. It had been 10 years since Moon 7. Humans had grown stronger, their fleets larger, their technology more advanced, but their discipline remained the same. They were not reckless, but they were fearless. The enemy was a coalition of 3 empires, each confident that humans could be crushed with overwhelming force. They gathered hundreds of ships in a region known as the Vortex Sector, planning to strike the human colonies at once. The old alien shivered at the memory. They thought humans would panic. They thought humans would scatter. But humans, they did not scatter. They prepared. Captain Sam had anticipated the attack. He divided his fleet into decoys and hidden units. Civilian ships were protected by concealed warships. They mined the asteroid belts and set up defensive grids that appeared invisible to enemy sensors. It was a strategy unlike anything I had ever seen, the old alien said. Not brute force, not luck. Planning, coordination, and timing. Every human knew their role, and they executed it perfectly. When the enemy fleet entered the sector, the humans launched their ambush. Smaller, faster ships struck first, drawing attention while the hidden battleships targeted the command ships. The enemy was caught off guard. They had studied humans before, yes, but this was different. This was unpredictable brilliance combined with fearlessness. The old alien's voice grew quieter. I was aboard the flagship of the coalition, the Imperator. We believed we were ready. We had numbers. We had firepower. We had experience. And yet, humans destroyed our formations before we even knew what hit us. They moved like a single organism, each unit protecting the other, each attack precise. Ships that should have survived were annihilated. Commanders who should have coordinated their fleets were dead or trapped. Within hours, our fleet was in chaos. He paused, letting the council absorb the gravity of his words. I have fought many species. Some were cunning, some brutal, some clever. But humans combine all these traits and more. They adapt instantly. They think faster, endure longer, and act with courage that seems impossible. And yet they do not fight mindlessly. They fight with purpose. They fight to protect, to survive, to honor their people. And when the battle is over, they care for their enemies. The old alien remembered the captured commanders of the coalition. Humans could have executed them, could have enslaved them, could have shown vengeance for every death. But instead, they were treated with dignity, given food and medical care. Many of them later swore loyalty or negotiated alliances because of human fairness. The galaxy had underestimated them again, he said. They were feared as warriors, respected as leaders, and admired as humans. But the fear remained. Every species who had opposed them learned one thing: humans are unpredictable. They do not follow your rules. They follow their own code. And that code makes them unstoppable. He told of Sergeant Danny Reeves, now a legend. He led a boarding mission on a derelict alien station. Outnumbered 20-1, injured, exhausted, his soldiers faltering, he rallied them. He coordinated movements, took down enemy strongholds, and turned what should have been a defeat into a victory. And when it was over, he ensured the wounded aliens were treated, their dead buried. That is the human way: fight without fear, win without cruelty, and show mercy when possible. The council murmured in astonishment. Many were shaking their heads, realizing how little they had understood humans. The old alien's eyes darkened. You may wonder why the humans do this. Why they endure so much. Why they fight so fiercely. It is simple. They fight for something greater than themselves. Their people. Their home. Their values. They fight for love, for life, for hope. And they never stop. That is what makes them dangerous. Not hatred. Not anger. But devotion. Resolve. And the courage to face impossible odds without fear. He stood taller, spreading his claws. After the Vortex Sector battle, the coalition was broken. Entire fleets surrendered, not because humans threatened them with death, but because they knew humans would outlast them. Outthink them. Outfight them. And even after victory, humans extended mercy. They rebuilt, they healed, they honored the fallen, friend and enemy alike. That is why every species now respects humans. That is why the galaxy fears them. That is why humans are not just survivors, they are legends. A young counselor, trembling, asked, "Do you believe humans can be trusted?" The old alien's 4 eyes glimmered. Trust is complicated. Humans are capable of hatred and kindness, destruction and mercy. You can never predict them fully. But one thing is certain: they are worth respecting. Respect them and they will respect you. Oppose them, and you will learn the cost of underestimating the impossible. The council sat in stunned silence. The chamber was quiet, heavy with awe and fear. Outside, the stars shone bright. Somewhere humans continued their lives, farming, building, teaching, creating, dreaming. They had no idea of the legends they had become, or the fear they inspired across the galaxy. And perhaps that was the most human thing of all. The council chamber was silent. The old alien had spoken for hours. His testimony had revealed humanity's courage, intelligence, and unpredictable strength. Now he had to explain the legacy humans left behind, the truth that would echo across the galaxy for centuries. After the Vortex Sector battle, humans did not stop. They did not become conquerors in the traditional sense. Instead, they became a force for balance, respect, and endurance. Worlds once ruled by empires now freed, planets ravaged by war now rebuilt. Humans helped allies, healed enemies, and inspired hope where despair had thrived. The old alien spoke slowly, his voice heavy with awe. The galaxy had thought humans were weak, soft, emotional, fragile. They were wrong. Humans are adaptable. They endure what no other species can. They fight when survival seems impossible. They create when all hope is lost. And they inspire everyone around them. He recounted the first contact missions after the war. Humans visited species they had never met, sharing technology, medicine, and knowledge. They taught agricultural techniques to struggling worlds, helped rebuild cities, and mediated disputes between rival empires. Every step was measured, every action deliberate. They showed the galaxy a different way to use power, not to dominate but to uplift. The council gasped when he spoke of the Galactic Treaty of Unity, a peace agreement mediated by humans. They did not force it. They offered fairness. They respected every species, even those who had tried to destroy them. And they did not stop at negotiation. They enforced peace when needed, but always with discipline, and only to protect life, not for glory or gain. The old alien's eyes grew distant. I watched humans live. I studied them for 50 years. I saw young soldiers risk their lives without hesitation. I saw captains cry for the fallen and then lead their fleets to victory. I saw medics perform impossible surgeries in freezing storms. I saw civilians rebuild planets, plant trees, teach children, create art. Humans are complex, capable of love, courage, mercy, and incredible violence. And they combine all of this into a force unlike any other. That is their legacy. He described a moment that stayed with him forever. A small human colony had been attacked by a rogue alien warlord. The humans had barely enough ships to defend themselves. Yet they did not surrender. They coordinated a defense, used clever traps, and struck with precision. The warlord's forces were defeated with minimal human losses, and afterwards humans fed and treated the enemy wounded. Even the warlord admitted later, "I had never faced a species like this. I did not understand them. I feared them. And yet, I respect them." The council leaned in, listening intently. "That is the essence of humanity," the old alien said. "They fight with everything they have, endure the impossible, but they also know mercy. They do not seek to destroy without cause. They do not pursue revenge endlessly. They act for purpose, honor, and life itself. And they do not stop. Ever. That is why the galaxy must respect them. That is why humans are the true survivors, the ultimate force, and the most unpredictable beings in existence." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. Every empire, every species, every civilization that has faced humans knows this now. They may not understand them fully. They may never predict them completely. But they know, underestimating humans is the greatest mistake a species can make. A young counselor, barely old enough to hold her rank, asked softly, "Do humans have enemies still?" The old alien smiled faintly, a shadow of the battles he had endured crossing his face. "Yes, humans always have challenges. There will always be threats, conflicts, and dangers. But humans are not defined by their enemies. They are defined by how they fight, how they protect, and how they endure. And because of this, no force can ever truly destroy them." He spread his claws wide, addressing the council with finality. "This is what I have learned in 50 years of watching humans. They are unpredictable, resilient, and honorable. They are terrifying in battle and merciful in peace. They are not monsters. They are not gods. They are humans. And that is enough to change the fate of the galaxy." The council sat in awe, the chamber quiet as stars outside reflected the infinite expanse of space. The old alien took a slow breath. "Remember this. When humans live, build, fight, and survive, they leave a mark on the galaxy that cannot be erased. They are legends in the making, not because they seek glory but because they are true to themselves and to the values they fight for. That is humanity's legacy." As he walked toward the door, he turned one last time. "Treat humans with respect. Fear them if you oppose them. Honor them if you follow them. They will teach you courage, mercy, and endurance in ways you cannot imagine. And when they do, you will understand why they are the most extraordinary species in the galaxy." The old alien stepped into the corridor. The chamber remained silent for a long moment, every delegate deep in thought. Outside, the stars glimmered, and somewhere across the galaxy, humans continued their lives, farming, building, loving, dreaming, unaware of the legends they had become. And that, the old alien knew, was the most human thing of all.